Meow. I learned something new today, everybody. It's perfectly acceptable to identify as a cat.
Kick straight off with a GB News classic now in the Telegraph. Kids identifying as cats, barking mad. But is it a matter for number 10?
Yesterday, the most extraordinary voice recording has been in circulation actually for a couple of days of a teacher at Rye College in a secondary school in East Sussex scolding pupils for refusing to accept that one of their classmates could identify as a cat.
You what? Don't you dare mock it, by the way, because I've decided that is now what I am, meow shell to you. But if you do indeed mock it, careful, because I wouldn't be surprised if it could be considered a hate crime.
Martin, you say secondary schools have now become indoctrination centres, or is that too strong?
No, I mean, the definition of indoctrination is if you teach an ideology and you're unable to criticise it, and that's clearly what's happened in this instance. It seems absurd, doesn't it, that a girl can pretend to be a cat, but then for a teacher saying, no, you must listen to that, and if you don't, you're a bigot, and even worse, threatening to remove the children in question from the school and reporting them and making them do a written statement.
I did think, though, I listened to it, the teacher was sounded... I mean, sometimes you hear these things and you think, oh, you know, it's just like they're trying to toe the line. No, they were absolutely unhinged. Yeah.
I've got to be honest with you, if a teacher was telling my child that, I want them out of their job. I don't think these people should have any business in our classroom. I'm not sure they should have any business on our streets either.
Well, now it's emerged that kids across the UK are claiming to be horses, dinosaurs and even a moon. It's causing problems in class, not least, I don't know how they fit the moon into it, but there you go. I shudder to think whether or not the horse... Anyway, let's not do that.
People at one high school is insisting on being addressed as a dinosaur, another as a horse. One wears a cape and wants to be acknowledged, like I said, as a moon. The children are allowed to wear items like cat's ears, while other human-identifying children are rebuked for untucked shirts.
And the teacher, as you say, was enforcing an ideology. But when schools have been, teachers have been trained for so long now that if a girl says she's a boy, then they must affirm her as a boy. So already you're saying that subjective identity is more important and more of a reality than objective material reality itself.
Biological fact. And asking this girl saying these girls were talking, you have to accept and treat her. If this girl says she's a cat, you have to treat her as a cat. Now you might say, I don't want you to bully her. I'm sorry, if you think you're a cat, you've got a mental health issue, or you're just playing and taking the mick, which is what I hope this kid is doing.
And now look at this little graphic, everyone. Some people would say that there's about 70-odd genders. This one describes 18. This was an NHS questionnaire thing that was asking you to identify with all of these different genders. Which one are you? This is bonkers, isn't it, Nigel? But you think you can change your gender?
But I do think you can change your gender. And so that is enshrined in British law for most purposes.
So you think, so for example, I could decide so you're saying a cat is me taking it too far, but I could
It's a different species, so it would be ridiculous.
So as long as
any
it's
more
the
than
same
you're a pillar
species,
box or something.
I could identify, as long as it's the same species, you're comfortable that I could identify as that. So I could identify as a man.
Yes, you can.
Could I identify as a black man?
Very quick word from Benedict Spence, final word on this.
The staggering thing from that clip, you can hear in their voices, the child is more intelligent than the teacher. The teacher is just repeating what she has learnt by rote, and the child is thinking on her feet. How depressing must that be for the child to know that's your teacher?
Yeah, and which is worse, the teacher believing it or just lying? I don't know which is worse.
Self-identity, where do we draw the line? Kids at school being told that they must respect it if this is how their peers seriously want to present themselves. Really? What on earth is going on in our schools? How worried about it should we be? And why are parents not allowed to see the content that children are being taught? Very alarming, if you ask me.
Click here for a song about Sunak.